The Grand Assembly of the Interstellar Council erupted as General Thalkor slammed his fists upon the podium.
Open your borders. Edict 447 demands free galactic passage through your entire system.
On the chamber's main view screen, the image of Earth's ambassador appeared, composed and utterly still.
The Terran Diplomatic Corps acknowledges receipt of Edict 447. Compliance has been scheduled.
The formal reply, projected on her data slate, was 3 words: acknowledged, compliance scheduled.
They crumble. The humans have no stomach for defiance. This is the victory I promised.
The assembled delegates buzzed with approval, scenting easy conquest behind the veneer of trade.
Let them celebrate. 30 days is exactly what we need.
In 30 rotations, the heart of their civilization will lie bare before us.
The chamber erupted in harsh laughter, never hearing the quiet click of a trap being set. On Earth's orbital rim, silent sentinels received encrypted packets, orders to awaken. In the Terran High Command's central briefing chamber, Ambassador Reyes faced her superiors with steady eyes.
The Council believes they have issued a demand. We will treat it as an invitation. Operation Safe Bet. We open every channel, sensors, targeting networks, civilian feeds. They asked for open borders. They never specified how many guns would be on display.
The first retrofits began within the hour, disguised as standard hull inspections. Technicians sealed weapon housings behind false panels, calibrating targeting systems in quiet bays. On every strategic console, a countdown timer initialized. 29 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes. High-orbit platforms that had slept silent for a century began their arming sequences, one by one. Earth was not preparing to surrender. It was preparing to show the galaxy what open borders truly meant. Across the inner systems, commercial freighters shed their false hulls in dry dock, emerging as silent predators.
20 rotations left, and their formidable navy has yet to challenge even a probe. Pathetic.
At the Council's monitoring station, analysts studied Earth's traffic patterns and saw only routine departures.
Military-grade hull signatures. No, General. Just cargo manifests and passenger logs. They obey.
They lack the will to resist. Soon, their worlds will be our waypoints.
Yet in the deep black, a naval officer ran a silent diagnostic on a new targeting relay, and it returned perfect. Deck by deck, platform by platform, Earth's hidden arsenal came online without a single alarm sounding. At day 19, the countdown continued its silent march.
I want their embassy to receive a reminder of the deadline, gratitude for compliance, and a promise of oversight.
Ambassador Reyes read the message, allowed herself a thin smile, and filed it without reply. Day 15 of the ultimatum. General Thalkor mounted the podium with the confidence of a conqueror.
In 15 rotations, Earth's channels will flood open. Their submission will be total.
A Council scout ship, emboldened by his rhetoric, drifted past the unmarked line of sovereignty. A single energy bolt, cold, precise, split the vacuum ahead of it, a warning clearer than words.
A desperate gesture. They hope to frighten us. They only reveal their fear.
Earth's news feeds lit up with the confrontation. Minor incident. No casualties, borders still intact. The public watched with a grim sort of pride. No panic, no calls for surrender.
Send the humans a message. Commend their restraint. It will make the handover smoother.
The scout returned to the fleet, its hull unscathed, its crew shaken by the nearness of that light. Thalkor dismissed the report with a wave. The countdown continued, and Earth remained silent. Day 22. A global news syndicate aired leaked footage of Earth's retrofitted freighters, sparking panic. Ambassador Reyes saw the broadcast and immediately called an emergency press conference.
These are standard maintenance checks, not a military buildup. We comply with Edict 447.
The humans are arming their cargo ships. How desperate. It changes nothing.
Council monitoring stations noted the media frenzy, but General Thalkor only laughed beyond the heliopause. Council warships continued to mass, drawn by the scent of an easy conquest. The news cycle moved on, but the near-miss accelerated Earth's final preparations.
8 days until the timer runs out. We are ready.
Earth's defense platforms completed their silent diagnostics. Green indicators flickering in the deep black, the Council fleet grew larger on every scanner, blind to the storm about to break. Day 28. General Thalkor opened a direct channel to Ambassador Reyes, his face filling the view screen.
Your deadline approaches, Ambassador. Submit your border protocols now, or we will take them.
Everything is ready, General. We await your visit with great anticipation.
You hear that? They accept. The humans have prepared everything for our arrival.
On Earth, the countdown timer ticked to its final cycle. 2 days remained. Deep in the orbital grid, dormant reactors hummed to life, running final pre-activation checks. 24 hours, the entire Sol system held its breath.
At midnight, Sol's borders will be ours. Ready the fleet for inspection.
The countdown reached 0 hour. Earth's systems shifted to active status. Not a single weapon fired. Instead, every sensor, every targeting system, every hidden gun simply went online across the Sol system. Over 3,000 defense platforms awoke, their targeting arrays casting green light into the void. Commercial freighters shed their civilian skins, weapon turrets rotating free under the cold light of distant stars. The tactical map became a sea of green, every Council ship tagged, targeted, and tracked.
Borders open, as requested. Welcome any Council vessel that wishes to visit.
On the flagship bridge of the Council fleet, every console erupted with alarms. The main view screen displayed a message no Council officer had ever seen. Targeting lock detected.
They dare aim weapons at my fleet. Open a channel. I will make them pay.
But every channel was flooded with Earth's calm, repeating invitation and the cold status of active warheads.
They turned my demand into a kill zone. Every ship in my fleet is a target.
For the first time, the Council's arrogance collided with the quiet, lethal truth of humanity's open borders.
They cannot defy me. Full forward thrust. Let us see how long their courage lasts.
His helm officer froze, the tactical display showing every warship in the fleet overlapped by a dozen green targeting reticles. The first vessel to move would trigger a response no shield could absorb.
I am not defeated. This is merely a standoff. They will blink first.
Hours passed. Earth did not fire, but neither did it blink. The entire Sol system was a fortress of silence and precise attention.
Contact the Council. I will not lose face retreating from an enemy who does not even speak.
In the Council chamber, the live tactical feed showed General's entire fleet pinned, immobile. Under the shadow of Earth's quiet, overwhelming reply, no one spoke. The chamber, so often filled with roaring demands, was silent.
They made me look weak. When this standoff ends, I will make them pay.
But for now, the Council's might sat frozen, while Earth's open borders blazed with the quiet promise of mutual destruction. Earth's public squares lit up with live tactical maps, Council ship trajectories, classified schematics, raw sensor data.
You asked for open borders. You never specified what kind of transparency we were required to provide.
On personal devices, civilians zoomed in on classified Council warship designs, astonished. The information spread faster than any official panic response could contain. Behind the Council's sealed doors, emergency delegates scrambled to assess the damage.
They are broadcasting our military secrets to their entire population. This is an act of war.
But no one dared order a fleet already in the crosshairs of Earth's silent grid to advance.
My edict is exposing my own fleet. This is a disaster of my making.
For the first time, Council military superiority was rendered meaningless on a civilian's tablet. Across the planet, a billion eyes watched the Council's secrets unfold, and no one knew what would happen next. The emergency Council session convened under the weight of Earth's silent grid. Security was an illusion.
We must advance immediately. A full invasion will shatter their bluff before they can fire a single shot.
One ambassador after another crossed their arms in refusal. Their own classified fleet data was now public.
They blame me. The edict was to open Earth, not to reveal our own secrets. Now I am the scapegoat.
A faction moved to draft a formal request. Earth must close its borders to protect Council operational security.
Closing borders. That would be surrender. I refuse to be the general who retreats from a species that does not even speak.
The chamber fractured. Some shouted for Thalkor's removal. Others for patience. No consensus could form.
For now, I still command the fleet. But in this chamber, my authority is rotting from within.
The emergency session adjourned without resolution. Thalkor kept his rank, but his word was no longer law.
You will not dictate terms to me. I will break this silent enemy or die in the attempt.
Within 48 hours, a formal request arrived from 3 Council species. Earth must close its borders immediately to protect operational security. Ambassador Reyes read the document in her office, the bureaucratic language barely masking desperation.
You demanded we open our borders for free passage. Now you ask us to close them for your safety. We complied with your edict. We will not violate it now.
Her reply was broadcast publicly. Across Earth, people saw the paradox. The Council that threatened invasion now pleaded for privacy. Public support for Ambassador Reyes soared. Even children understood the absurdity of the demand.
They wanted open borders. They never considered what would be seen from our side.
Behind the Council's sealed doors, the species who made the request faced ridicule. Their secret ships were already archived on 1 billion human devices. Non-aligned species sent quiet messages of admiration. Humanity had turned a demand into a masterstroke of diplomatic judo. The Council was trapped. They could not retreat without admitting the edict was a catastrophic mistake. Thalkor's fleet still hung in the crosshairs. On the flagship bridge, Thalkor's patience shattered. No more waiting.
Target the nearest human platform. A single volley. Teach them defiance has a cost.
An emergency override from the Council speaker locked every weapon system before the order could relay.
They overrode my command. The Council surrenders military dominance to silence.
A formal censure followed, broadcast to every command display, and to Earth. General Thalkor was stripped of tactical authority.
You cannot do this without me. The fleet is nothing.
The Council retained his rank to avoid appearing weak. He became a figurehead, a general with no guns.
A figurehead. I, who conquered worlds, am now a symbol of their failure.
On his own bridge, officers no longer met his eyes. Command had left the room. Thalkor stayed at his post, but everyone knew the roaring days were over. Earth's transparency feeds intensified. Council supply chains, shield frequencies, and officer identifications spilled onto every human device. Non-aligned species issued formal condemnations, calling Edict 447 an act of unprovoked aggression.
They will keep exposing us until I am utterly disgraced. I need to seize the narrative before I drown. Open a direct channel to the human ambassador. I will make her answer for this mockery.
The connection established. Thalkor's enraged face appeared on a screen in Ambassador Reyes's tranquil office.
You think your little transparency game will break the Council? You are nothing but a temporary annoyance.
You demanded open borders, General. We merely complied. Your reaction is not our doing.
She is baiting me. I must not appear weak, but my rage is all I have left.
News of his erratic confrontation leaked instantly. Across Council space, Thalkor became a liability, not a general. Earth's calm response only amplified his fury. The once roaring general now appeared fragilely, a cornered predator. In a shadowed corridor far from official chambers, a human representative and a Council envoy exchanged quiet words. Earth's condition arrived encrypted. Formal talks require the immediate removal of General Thalkor. Unaware of the secret talks, Thalkor paced his bridge, his authority hollowed to a title
The silence from the council is different. They are moving without me.
The talks intensified. Council species, once united, now argued over the cost of Thalcor's fate. A preliminary poll leaked. A growing number saw his removal as the only path to end the humiliation.
I can feel it. They are preparing to discard me like a spent shell.
The human envoy spelled out the terms. Thalcor removed, edict retracted, and transparency continued. Council leadership, trapped, agreed to consider a confidence vote. Thalcor's sacrifice became a bargaining chip. Thalcor remained in his chair, unaware that his name had become the price of peace. The council speaker rose in the central chamber, robes pooling like shadow, and formally called for a vote of no confidence in General Thalcor.
No confidence? I am their most decorated general. This is mutiny backed by cowards and bureaucrats. You will regret this treachery. I have dedicated my life to the Council's supremacy.
But the communication channels remained silent. The officers who had once scrambled at his command now refused to meet his gaze. His allies, once a formidable coalition, abandoned him faster than a retreating warship. The political calculus was brutal. The speaker decreed the vote would take place in the next emergency session. Thalcor had less than 2 rotations to alter the inevitable.
I can feel the walls closing. The roaring general, reduced to a waiting prisoner of a vote.
Across council space, species who had once bowed to his roar now watched their screens, waiting for his fall. Thalcor remained in his command chair, not as a general, but as a relic of a failed doctrine, waiting for the final count. The council's roar had become a whisper, and the whisper spelled out his name as the price of peace. The emergency session convened under the weight of every broadcast. Thalcor ascended the podium for his final defense.
I gave you victory after victory. This transparency is a trick, a human weapon. Strike now and reclaim our glory.
But the chamber was a wall of silence. Delegates who once cheered now stared at their data slates or the floor. The speaker activated the main screen. Ambassador Reyes's recorded testimony shimmered into the silence.
We opened our borders as demanded. We have welcomed any council vessel. The council's panic is not our doing.
Her calm, precise words landed like a sentence passed in advance. There was no rebuttal, only the hum of systems.
She turns my roar into her own justification. Every word is a blade.
The speaker rose. The council will now vote whether to retain General Thalcor in command. One by one, the delegate panels lit up as the voting sequence began, the final count to be rendered in moments. The air thickened. Thalcor's fate now rested in the hands of those he had once sneered at as political vermin. The tally froze on the main display. 87% voted no confidence. The chamber exhaled the verdict.
87%. The very species I conquered now vote to discard me like damaged cargo. On what grounds? I am the architect of your military dominance. You have no right.
The speaker's voice cut through, flat and absolute.
Incompetence. Reckless endangerment of the council. You are relieved of command, effective immediately.
2 ceremonial guards stepped forward and unclasped Thalcor's bronze chestplate, the symbol of a century of command. The heavy armor plate clattered onto the dais. The sound echoed through the silence like a death knell.
A century of conquest, and I am undone by a species that never fired a shot.
Stripped of rank, stripped of authority, he was led from the chamber, not a general, but a prisoner of his own hubs, a prisoner of his own hubris. His roar had finally been silenced, not by a weapon, but by the quiet, absolute logic of open borders from her office high above Earth. Ambassador Reyes encoded a single phrase and hit transmit. Safe bet. The message that had defined her operation was now its epitaph. In the council chamber, the speaker received the transmission and rose to make an unprecedented announcement.
By unanimous consent, Edict 447 is rescinded. The council extends its formal apology to Terra.
It was the first apology the council had ever offered to any species. On Earth, the public displays updated in real time. The threat of invasion was officially over. A child pointed at a street hologram where the last red marker winked out. replaced by a green status, a secure. The defense grid remained active, its green lattice a silent promise in the void. Earth had not fired a single shot, yet the victory was absolute. The Council's roar had been answered by a whisper, a safe bet that had paid off in full. Within a cycle, the new treaty was signed, borders open under strict protocols, Earth's defense recognized as inviolable.
You roared for open borders. We opened them, and now the galaxy knows what that means.
General Falcor, stripped of rank, was reassigned to a remote listening outpost on the galactic fringe.
A cold rock at the edge of nowhere. My legacy reduced to static and silence.
The Council's military fleet withdrew from Sol, the last warship fading into the deep black.
We did not seek this confrontation, but we will never apologize for protecting our home.
Other species quietly approached Earth, seeking trade and alliance. The era of isolation was over. Ambassador Reyes received a quiet commendation, accepting it with the same calm precision she had used throughout the crisis.
Safe bet. It was never just a plan. It was a promise to our people.
The cage was unlocked, but now it belonged to Earth, and the galaxy had learned a hard lesson. In the weeks that followed, Earth's defense grid became a beacon of measured strength, not intimidation. Ambassador Reyes's image appeared on galactic broadcasts, but she avoided the fervor her name inspired.
The grid stays active, but so do our embassies. We didn't win a war. We ended one.
In the council chamber, former adversaries now sent envoys seeking trade and mutual security pacts. The phrase, "safe bet," entered the galactic lexicon, a reminder that a quiet trap can undo the loudest threat. The general who once filled this chamber with roars now heard only static at a remote outpost. Human freighters, retrofitted and formidable, became the backbone of a new interstellar trade network. Linda's eyes, immortalized in a famous hollow, reflected the weight and resolve of a quiet victory. The council chamber, once a stage for roaring demands, now hummed with the sound of genuine diplomacy. Humanity had found its voice, not in a roar, but in a steady, unyielding quiet. On a quiet street corner, a child tugged her father's sleeve and looked up at the holographic defense grid. "Why did they want open borders?" she asked. Her father smiled and pulled her close. "They didn't understand what we would open," he said. The child smiled, and the grid shimmered above. High above, the defense grid continued its silent rotation, a necklace of green around a living world. On public displays, the phrase, "safe bet," had become more than a plan. It was a promise kept. The platforms that had once been hidden now stood as quiet guardians, unsleeping but never hostile. Earth rotated below, its cities bright and unburned, its children asking questions their parents could finally answer with peace. The child rested her head against her father's shoulder, and together they watched the sky, unafraid. The council's roar had long faded, but Earth's quiet answer would echo across the galaxy for generations. For sometimes the mightiest weapon is a door left carefully open, and a finger that never pulls the trigger. In the years that followed, the defense grid became a monument to a war that never was. Children studied the tactical maps in classrooms, tracing the green reticles that had held an empire at bay. Aboard the listening outpost, the static of a failed career kept a bitter silence company. The phrase, "safe bet," was stenciled on freighters, whispered in negotiations, a quiet warning, and a promise. The child's question remained the only one that still mattered in the chambers where threats once echoed. Why had they demanded open borders? Knowing so little of what humanity would open, the answer, when it settled across the galaxy, was not a roar, but the steady, eternal hum of the grid. The council's roar was answered by a whisper that shook the galaxy. Humanity's safe bet fade to black.